Hi, I'm Miles Protter of the Values Partnership, and this video series is When Leaders Listen, We Change Our World. And right now, in Listening 2.0, we're looking at what stops us from listening. And today I'm going to talk about the problem of avoiding difficult conversations. So imagine this, a colleague comes to your office or they're on the screen, and you know something's going on with them and they don't look too good. And you're not sure what to say, you're in a hurry, you don't want this thing, you don't want to open up this big can of worms. So you do say something like, well, as they say here in Australia, how's it going, all right? And then you move on. Apologies for the accent. And you avoid asking, how are you? Right? And waiting for a response, because he might actually just tell you. And then that could open up all kinds of rabbit holes and complications and delays, and you're going to get into some big story, right? And you think, well, I'm just not going to, right? It's just much better to get on with your day and hope someone else deals with them. And then you think, well, doesn't the guy have a wife? Doesn't he have friends or a family? And there's an employee assistance program here. We got psychologists. He should talk to them. What's he bothering me for? And meanwhile, some part of you worries that maybe he won't talk to anyone. So I don't know if you've avoided a conversation like that. I think I have, in the past. And I think the best way to look at it is from the point of view of the person who's being avoided. So my friend Tim, he's a mining executive and he's an engineer, very, very clever guy, was on a mine site for a couple of weeks, and he was in the lunchroom and he noticed a guy, sitting over there in the corner by himself, an older gentleman, and someone, whispered to him, said, that guy over there, his son died, and they named that meeting room after his son. And Tim, goes, oh, okay, thanks for telling me. But still he notices, this guy's over there and no one's talking to him, right? So next day, Tim goes over, sits right beside him, says, how you doing? And they start talking, and the man tells him his story, including about the passing of his son. And then after about 20 minutes or 25 minutes, the guy says to Tim, he goes, you're the first person who's asked me how I'm doing since my son died. And, I know it's really uncomfortable for people, and because they actually, sometimes even avoid me in the corridor. This isn't some little startup prospecting thing. This is a major blue chip mining company with an employee assistance program and all the psychologists in the world. And yet still this guy is sitting there suffering by himself at lunch. So what's going on, And you think, and then you think, how many other conversations are we avoiding, right? With customers, colleagues, suppliers. Like, because they're just too difficult. We tell ourselves, we'll get around to it someday, or hopefully someone else will deal with it when because we're too busy, right? And the meantime, right, these expectations are not getting sorted out. All right, bullying and abuse is happening, not getting challenged. Problems in supply chain structure, problems with performance just aren't getting addressed, and quality problems aren't getting dealt with. People are suffering, right? So there's no other way other than just to gather up the courage and say, hey, how are you doing? Or, hey, let's sort this out, and just listen. And if the person's angry or upset, well, schedule in an hour to have the conversation, because it'll be worth it. You'll be giving someone a gift. So I hope this has been helpful. Next time we're going to have Listening 3.0, which is all about asking good questions. So see you then.